One of my favorite things to do is work with first-time investors and teach them the house hacking strategy. I think there's a misunderstanding for younger people when they think of purchasing a home, especially in my market. The median price is right around 500K, and conventional thinking has these people under the impression that they need to save up 100 grand to buy a house when there's another alternative.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kessel. Today, I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Ryan Spath, who is a licensed realtor as well as an investor in the Boise area. So excited to have you here today, Ryan.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's dive in. First off, for those not familiar with you and your work yet, can you share what your main focus is?
Yeah, my focus is just anyone that's looking to build wealth through real estate here in the Treasure Valley. One of my favorite things to do is work with first-time investors and teach them the house hacking strategy. I think there's a misunderstanding for younger people when they think of purchasing a home, especially in my market. The median price is right around 500K, and conventional thinking has these people under the impression that they need to save up 100 grand to buy a house when there's another alternative. We can use FHA, first-time homebuyer programs, 3.5% down to buy a property such as like a duplex, and it's a much lower barrier to entry. Not only does the tenant help pay for the mortgage, but the rent will also help people qualify to get into properties sooner if their income isn't as strong. Another thing with this market, it's a big appreciation market with all the growth that's taking place, especially Micron, everyone's hearing about on a national level. There's just a lot of inbound migration. There's a lot of people moving here for jobs. Our annual job growth last year alone was 1.11% for the area, where the nation was only 0.4%. And if anyone knows investing, we know that we need migration in and strong job growth to be able to pay rent and have the properties go up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, how did you learn about real estate and investing strategies?
Yeah, great question. Many moons ago, I think I read a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was in the business space prior to being an agent, and everything that I read, all the people that had any sorts of wealth, it seemed that a good portion of that was in real estate. So I always had an interest in getting into it. And my personal story began, I bought my first property in Portland, Oregon, actually in the metropolitan area way back in 2013. I moved from Florida to Portland for work, and I was looking at properties. I met a Keller Williams agent, and we were looking at existing housing stock. and it made more sense just to build a new property, a new construction property. It took about 10 months to finish the project. And
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
the plan was to live in Portland for about a decade. And as many people's lives do, mine threw me a curveball. And I lived in the property for about 8 or 10 months and ended up relocating here to the Boise area. And I contacted my agent, and she gave me the skills necessary to turn it into a rental property. It was sort of a pivotal moment for me because, like many people, I don't think we want to be landlords, right? We all have you hear the horror stories, or someone's told us that Aunt Susan was a landlord and the tenant destroyed her property, or she has to fix toilets at night. That wasn't my case at all. So fortunately, with this KW agent's advice, I got teed up with a good property manager, and we turned it into a rental. It was nothing great at first. I think I might have actually been losing $25 a month or so after paying the management, but it was a new construction. So fortunately, I didn't have any major expenses or anything like that sprung up.
Awesome. And what did your investing journey continue to look like? Are there specific strategies that you've used and that you felt worked for you?
Yeah, good question. So once I was in Boise, I was living with a friend and I was looking for other housing, and I reached out to my local bank and I told them my scenario, I gave them all my financials, and they weren't going to let me qualify for another conventional loan. At that point in my life, I didn't know what a mortgage broker was. I just, I went to ABC Bank and I didn't fit the box that they put me in. So they told me no. And unfortunately, I didn't ask any other questions. Well, that turned out to work for my advantage. I was calling on properties and I told a realtor in the Boise area what was going on. So they teed me up to a property in Garden City. And this is back in 2014, which, if anyone's familiar with the Treasure Valley, Garden City 12 years ago was nothing like it is now. It was very pumpkin patch. Still kind of is. There's a lot of development taking place there. There's a lot of trailers, but it's positioned in an amazing place. It's pretty central to the valley. You have quick freeway access, and it runs along the Boise River. So I was able to secure this asset under owner carry terms. Again, it was 12 years ago. So the acquisition price was like 160 grand. I think my mortgage was only like $900. I ended up moving someone in to rent one of the rooms for about $450. So I was house hacking my first townhome. This went on maybe about a year. And then I met my now wife. So I gave my tenant the boot and I moved my wife in, and I was actually charging her rent before we were married. And then once we got engaged and everything, she became pregnant with our now first child. And we decided that we wanted to buy a house. So I remembered that I had this property in Portland, the first property that I bought back in 2013. And now it is 2017. So a few years had gone by, and the values in the Portland metropolitan area had gone up quite a bit. So I called my Keller Williams agent back. Her name's Sharon Blodick. Shout out to Sharon. And I tell her what's going on in my life. She, of course, congratulates me. And I tell her that we want to sell the property and buy our forever home here in the Boise area. She informs me that because it's been a rental for a couple of years, if I were to sell it, that I would have to pay capital gains. And she asked me if I'd ever heard of a 1031 exchange, which at this point I had not. So she explains the basics to me, connects me to an intermediary, and I bought into the idea of just building wealth through real estate, right? We sell the property. This is in 2017.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I net like 125 grand, which pre-COVID, $100,000 was a whole heck of a lot of money. It is to me now still, but especially pre-COVID, it was a lot. So we exchange that property and we buy a couple more properties here in the Valley. And it was kind of an aha moment because I wasn't making tons of money, but the upside of this, I didn't put a lot of money down in this first property, and to have a 6-figure profit, pay no taxes on it, and then exchange it into 2 more properties, a light bulb kind of went off in my head. And I was still in a different space. I was still working. I had businesses, so I didn't have the time yet to go full in and just dig in. But that was the light bulb that went off. So we exchanged the property. We're making a couple $100 per door. It's almost, we're living, I think we're making like $500. And again, my mortgage was like $900 of the townhouse. So it's only costing us like $400 a month. And that was kind of the pivot that made me really start writing goals down. And based on this one move, my goal originally was to just buy 10 single family properties. I figured if we could make $500 a month, $5,000 a year with our portfolio based on our living expenses, then I thought like it would take a whole lot of stress off of us financially. And that was kind of the original goal and the pursuit and the things that my wife and I wanted to achieve after doing that first 1031 exchange.
Yeah, amazing. And so, what does that look like now? Are you continuing to invest? Or are you just having like these longer term buy and hold properties?
Yeah, great question, Michelle. So that kind of sprungboard everything. My wife and I, at this point, we weren't married, we were just engaged. And instead of doing a conventional wedding and, spending tens of thousands of dollars and paying for a party for people, we decided to elope. And we were scrappy at this point of life. Like my wife was working, I'm working. We lived on the Dave Ramsey envelope system. It was a pain, but we literally had, we're saving this much, we're spending this much, all the envelopes, all the things. And we bought a single family home. So instead of having this big wedding and spending tens of thousands, we buy our next property. And now with the rent we're making from the townhouse and the 2 other properties we purchased, we're pretty much living like all the cash flows covering the housing expense of the property that we bought, instead of going on or instead of having a big wedding and taking like a gigantic honeymoon. So we do this, and now we're really pumped up because we're living for free. We're saving an extra $1,000 a month, and we're diving in. We're doubling down. We buy a new construction property a little bit on the outskirts of town in, gosh, this was 2019 in Kuna, Idaho, which again, we got ahead of the curve there. Kuna now, like the values have doubled at least since we bought the property. And we live there, and it's a lot further from town, right? Like it totally changed our lifestyle. We like to ski, we like to mountain bike and stuff. And now we're a good 45-minute drive from all those activities that we like to do. We also have 2 kids, and my mother-in-law was a little bit further away. So we were further away from support. So we moved back to Boise. We moved into one of the homes that we bought during the 1031 exchange. And everything's going great. Life is good. The businesses are going pretty good. And then COVID happens. And I had a business here in the Boise Town Square Mall. And the mall, just after having this business in the space for over a decade, they just chose not to renew me. And this represented over a third of my income. So now that I'm married, I have a couple kids.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I was very nervous because we did have properties. We were making some money, but we didn't have the 10 yet. It wasn't enough to totally cover our lifestyle. Um, and as everyone knows, when COVID happened, all of our properties, I mean, everything pretty much doubled over the span of a couple years. So we just took a chance. We bettered ourselves. Along the way, I had been just reading books and really educating myself on all the different strategies, active in all the blogs, just going to meetups, all the things. So we just took a leap of faith and we extracted of equity out of all of our properties, and we decided to move across the country to Florida. It wasn't just a random town. It's a place that my family lives. So we had support there. I grew up there. I went to high school there. I was very familiar with the market. And another reason was this market, the barrier of entry, the price point was a lot lower than where we lived. So that was the plan, is just to move and try to get properties and improve our cash flow position. And that's what we did. So we moved there, we bought a house. I did a BRRRR. I found out that I don't like swinging the hammer at all. I did all the work. It was amazing because of the outcome. But when I was living in it, going to Home Depot 3 and 4 times a day, driving 20 miles round trip. And there were a couple days in the show where I literally was questioning what I was doing, because it was absolutely tough and terrifying. I'd never done anything that big in my life. But we bought the property, we acquired it at a great price. We still own the asset today, and we make a lot of cash flow from it. While we were there, we moved again. We are going to try to do an Airbnb. It's sort of like a vacation town that we live on along the river. And that one ended up not working. We actually had to dispose of that. We had to sell it to come back to Idaho. We bought a couple more duplexes while we were there. We decided it wasn't a place that we wanted to raise our families, or our daughters. And we moved back to Idaho. And now the free cash flow we make from our properties more than pays for our lifestyle. And it's everything that it can be. It's taken a long time. My wife and I, we've been married for 9 amazing years. We have 2 beautiful daughters, and we've moved 7 times. It hasn't been easy, but it's been in the pursuit of this journey. And when we moved back to Idaho, that's when I got my real estate license. And I've ever since been just trying to help people do what I've done.
Yeah, amazing that you were able to just go out there and figure it out and now support others on that journey.
Yeah, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Every time we moved,
Sure.
it's been scrappy. And it gets harder as our children have gotten older with schools and things like that to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. And so are you continuing to scale your investing business, or are you just focusing on being an agent?
Yeah, so we made one more accusation this last October. When we moved back from Florida, we moved to one of our homes in Northwest Boise, and I started coming out to Star, Idaho, just to help clients. And we really noticed that there was opportunity here. There's a lot of growth here. It's an upcoming town. We think it's going to do what CUNA did for us when we bought back in, gosh, what was that? 2019. So we just went for it again. We moved again ourselves. it's been a little bit harder because we have kids, but we figured we would move here as part of our strategy. And the plan for us is to kind of sit tight here for a couple of years. And I really just want to focus on helping other individuals. That's what I did my whole last year. I did help, normal resale buyers purchase homes and things of that nature. But I was fortunate enough to help people invest in small multifamily projects, helped a few people get into the market with house hacking, helped someone buy some properties that they Airbnb. So we will still invest, but right now my primary objective is just I just want to serve others. I just want to help other people do what we've been able to do.
Yeah, amazing. And so, are you primarily helping like first time investors or first time home buyers or a little bit of both?
Yeah, great question. It's been a little bit of both. Our market, the barrier of entry is so high that for newer investors, the easiest way to get into the market is house hacking. And I've had the amazing opportunity to help several people do that. And I think it's just a great way for people to get into the market, to kind of cut their teeth as being a landlord and learn how to invest. I've also helped people just, normal people that want to invest in multifamily projects here. Just put 25% down and we've identified, cash flowing properties that they make a nominal return on. So pretty much everywhere in between. And there's a lot of people that live out of state that they have higher income. And I've been in conversation with several of them lately where they want to just either purchase properties conventionally putting 25% down or just write checks for properties via cash. And they want the upside and the stability of the cash flow. So it's been a great mix of everything, and even when I start with a first time home buyer, those are my favorites because they don't think they know everything yet. And you can educate them and show them how to position the property for their first one that can turn into their first rental when they go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 properties, instead of, if you're approved to buy a $600,000 house, don't max out your budget. Let's maybe shop and get something that's 450, save a little bit of the money, have a lower payment. So when we do go to make that jump to the next property, we at least have one asset under our belts and we can start kind of growing that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing that you're able to help people with your knowledge.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, and learn more about what you're up to, where can people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. They can find me on Instagram. It's Ryan Spath Real Estate. They can give me a call, 208-600-2814. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text. My email is Ryan Spath, RyanSpath @kw.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate your time and your story. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. And for those tuning into the show, if you got value, make sure you have subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Ryan who are building real businesses, and we'll see you all on our next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.